So here's one thing that helped me overcome my fear of rejection. It was a pretty harsh rejection that I got. Well, actually, it wasn't that harsh. So I was in Vegas and I was at a pool party and saw a nice looking girl kind of over on the other side of the pool. So I, kind of walked over, or I waded. I waded, WADE, over to her, and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And then she just ignored me, and I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." And my immediate thought was like, "Okay, did she really have to you know, totally ignore me? That's kind of messed up." And then later I saw that she was actually there with someone, with a guy, husband, boyfriend, whatever. And then I was like, my reaction to it, my to that sort of my reaction to her reaction was completely different. I said, "Oh, I'm glad she ignored me, and you know because I'm glad she sort of was so very clear about the way she rejected me, because well, she's there with somebody, and she I I wouldn't I wouldn't want her to stay and talk and you know say, "Hey, oh, you're hi, yeah, my name's this, I'm doing fine. Okay, where you staying at? Oh yeah, I'm staying here, blah blah blah. Okay, actually, you know what? I do have a boyfriend." And it's like me, I I don't want that, nor would I want the guy coming and seeing it, and then him. Well, I mean, not because there'd be a confrontation, but just because it would be awkward. Now, whether now if she wasn't interested for a different reason, because maybe I just wasn't her type, or maybe she doesn't like guys with tattoos, or maybe she doesn't like pale skinned fucking guys. People, guys that are fluorescent in the fucking sunlight. Like, either way, I should still want, I should still appreciate a direct rejection. I should still prefer that over her, or I would still prefer that over her just saying, "Oh, I'm doing fine," and then me saying, "Okay, what's your name? My name is this, that." Um, and then, you know, having her eventually sort of show disinterest, or say, "Oh, actually, I'm just kind of here hanging out. I wasn't really trying to meet new people, blah blah blah." Like, for me, I don't want to have that. I don't want to waste time. Like, if a woman's not interested in me, um, I I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a nice, fun interaction, but if someone's not feeling it, then I want to know as soon as possible. So what this did was it helped me welcome, you know, just a very harsh negative reaction, a harsh rejection. So you should feel the same way too. Like, if you approach a woman and she ignores you, or just makes it really clear that she's not interested, like, she's doing you a favor. And that's what you want. Like, you don't want to waste time. You want to, since you're the one that's doing the approaching. Unfortunately, that's how society still is. It doesn't need to be that way, but that's a different subject. That's a different. Anyway, you know what I mean. So you shouldn't fear that. because a lot of times that is one of the biggest fears of approaching, is the fear that, oh, I'm going to get a negative reaction. But if you reframe that negative reaction and say, okay, the worst that could happen is that if I get a negative reaction. But if she's not interested, that's what I want. I mean, obviously, it could be better if a woman just, instead of ignores you or says fuck off, just says, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not really interested. Of course, that's better, but you know, it is what it is. The next thing, okay, the next little tip, the next little thing that I learned is that just because a woman rejects you, it doesn't mean that she is angry at you for making an attempt. I'll give you another example. I was waiting in line for the bathroom, and it was one of those bathrooms where it was like kind of unisex, like the bathroom was unisex, but each individual stall, had its own door that locked, and floor to ceiling kind of walls and all that stuff. And there were these two hot chicks kind of in front of me, and I kind of tapped one of them to get her attention, and she just didn't even turn around. And then later, as we got closer to the line, she opened up one of the doors, and I guess she saw that it was it was like a urinal and not an actual toilet. And then she just casually told me, she said, "Oh, hey," just casually told me that I could use that one because she didn't need it, or it was something like that. But the point is that she just said it very casually, and which really shows that she didn't think I was a creep for attempting to talk to her. I mean, we're in a nightclub, she's single, or I don't know, but we're in a nightclub, and part of the reason people go there is to meet people. And maybe she was going there to get approached, and she understood that, like, I'm going to get approached, and not every man that approaches me is going to be someone I like. So being approached by men that I'm not interested in is okay, because that's what happens. Obviously, obviously this is not going to be the case with all women, but again, who cares? So just like for me, I that realization just kind of just helped me to approach more. What else? What else helped me get more confident and kind of how shattered my approach anxiety? I wouldn't call it shattered. These things didn't shatter my anxiety. They're kind of like just slow, steady revelations. The whole if you get rejected, it's usually not about you. Maybe she's just want to have a girls' night out. Maybe she's just not in the mood to talk to anybody. So it's not really about you. It's just more about her not being in the mood, or not being there for meeting someone, or she just got out of a breakup, or just all this stuff. Like, yeah, that could be the case, but it ignores the very real fact that, like, she's not into you. The very real fact that it is about you. And then that's okay. It's okay if it is about you. Because, like, let's say you approach a girl, she rejects you, and you say, "Oh yeah, it's not about me. It's just her. She's not trying to really meet anybody, or she's just trying to have a girls' night out." And then maybe 10 minutes later, you see her another guy approach her, and they're totally vibing and they're making out. Like, what are you gonna do then? What's more honest about that situation is to just say, yeah, she did come out here to meet someone. I just wasn't the kind of guy she wanted to meet. It was about me. And the reason that's okay is because the thing about you that she didn't like, or the thing that she wanted that you didn't have, is going to be different for other women. Like, take something about you that's innocuous, like me, like tattoos, right? Like, let's say whether you have tattoos or don't have tattoos, this analogy will work. Like, let's say you don't have tattoos, and a woman rejects you because she likes guys with tattoos. You're not going to take that personally, because there's plenty of women that don't care about tattoos. Conversely, if you have tattoos and a woman rejects you because she doesn't like guys with tattoos, you're not going to take that personally, because you know there's plenty of women that either like it or don't care. So think about your other features or issues that way. You know, what's the worst one? Yeah, you're short. You're under 5'10". If a woman rejects you because you're not tall enough for her, like, who cares? There's lots of women who don't care about that. Or there's lots of women who might care, but wouldn't really mind, you know? Maybe she might make an exception. Or maybe she does care, but, like, you know, maybe your face is cute enough, or your body's cute enough to where she doesn't care. Like, look, I am a total butt guy and a boob guy, really. But like, yeah, like I'll date a woman with like no butt, you know. Like, if like, let's say she's like maybe tall, or she has big boobs, or maybe she has wide hips, you know, I'll be like, okay, you know, maybe her she doesn't really have a big butt, but she doesn't have a big booty. However, you know, her freaking thighs are awesome, her legs are awesome. She's got a pretty face, you know, she has nice boobs. Like, whatever, who cares? So just, you know, that's again, that's why you shouldn't worry about just features or individual aspects about you. You have to be comfortable. You have to be okay with the fact that people aren't gonna like you. That there's gonna be women that are just completely turned off by you. And here's another incident that also helped me. I was in a bar. It was like a nightclubby kind of bar, and you know, kind of about like maybe 20, 30 feet away from me, I noticed these two really hot girls, you know, and like, you know, they were just like wearing short, tight dresses. You know, their hair was all done up really nicely and everything. And I noticed them, and then they both noticed me, kind of around the same time. And their reaction to me was like night and day. You know, one of them was like, "Ooh, damn, who are you? Where did you come from?" And the other one was looking at me like, "Oh God, please don't fucking come over here." So, and like, really, it just by having those two, obviously, you know, you're gonna meet women you're gonna run into women from both categories. Women that think you're freaking awesome, and women that are just like, I want nothing to do with this guy. He's a complete fucking turnoff. But given the fact that I ran into both of them at the exact same time, it was a great experience. It was confidence boosting and humbling at the same time. And it was an experience that gave me true confidence. Because true confidence is not believing that, the woman that you're about to approach isn't going to reject you and is going to like you. It's about believing or knowing that lots of women will think you're amazing and lots of women won't, and that's totally fine. Like, who really cares if like even if like most women, let's say 75% of women think you're gross, if 25% of them think you're fucking hot? I mean, you even if you wanted to be the biggest player in the world, you're not gonna be able to date all those women. Like, even if like 10% of women think you're hot, like, that's great. Like, that's why it's so good to be polarizing. That's why it's so much better to be loved and hated than to just be. It's so much better to be, to be a turnoff by some and a total turn on to others, than to just be like kind of average to everybody, or to be a kind of a turn on to like everybody. And it's just reality, So the reason that situation was good, because I always remember that. Like, I always remember that image of, and I kind of took it a step further, like, I motioned the girl that was, giving me a good reaction. I kind of motioned her to come over, and she did. Like, how often is it that, like, an attractive girl, and, like a really attractive one, has a guy say, "Hey, come here," and he approaches, and she does come. So that was a great experience, because every time I think about it, like, it helps me to stay confident, but it also keeps me from becoming overconfident. It reminds me that, like, hey, this really hot girl, like, you told her to come over to you, and it's like, not only was this really hot girl just like completely goo goo gaga over you, like, when she saw you, like, she walked over to you when you motioned her, and like, but it also keeps me from being overconfident, because I remember the other girl, like, hey, remember, some girls think you're really, really fucking hot, but also remember, a lot of girls don't, and that's okay. So, I hope you can find some use out of this. If you like this, go ahead and let me know, so that I can talk more about this stuff.